Africa Data Center launch of yet again another facility here in Midrand. And of course, I've got right here with me the CEO of the Africa Data Center, Stephane Duproz. I've taken a long lesson in French to make sure that I say it just right, and he approves. So I've got a big thumbs up from him. I'll let him do the introduction, and then after that we can have a question and answer. We can have a quick dialogue for the next 30 minutes. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and congratulations on your pronunciation. Really appreciate the effort. I thank you very much to be with us tonight. It's a very important moment, and we are very happy to share it with you. And thank you for taking the time to come and listen to what we have to say and see this great facility, this new flagship of ours. I am the CEO of Africa Data Centres, and our purpose is to deploy all over the continent a web of data centers, which actually, what we see is a building, right?
Yeah.
But inside the building, that's the heart of the internet. Because in those buildings, the internet, sometimes we see the internet as almost a public service. It's kind of there, available, you pay a little bit for it, but it's there. It's not that at all. I mean, you all know that. It's just private networks which interconnect, creating the internet. And where do you think they're interconnected? In one of their own switching rooms or facilities? No. They interconnect in career-neutral facilities like this one. So that is what we want to create all over the continent. So I was born and raised in Africa. There's not been a year of my life I have not been on the African soil, and it's been an outstanding pleasure for me when I had the opportunity to come and share my 20 years of experience in data centers on my continent of birth. And beyond the business, I mean, we all love business, we all do business, and that's absolutely fair, and that's cool, and we all like it. But beyond that, each and every staff member of Africa Data Centers has a mission. And I can tell you, when you wake up in the morning, knowing that all your efforts you're going to do during the day is going to be useful for your business customers, of course, and we intend to be the best at doing that. But beyond that, it's going to be useful for the uncornering of some of Africa's dynamism. And Africa's dynamism, in my view, have always been convinced that the thing that is really going to help Africa faster than we think catch up on the world global business race is the internet. It's the digital world, and it's already very, very visible. Where in some of the digital activities, Africa has not, completely leapfrogged some of the best practices or ideas or innovation that I know in Europe, and it makes me so happy to see that. And we are participating in that. We are creating within our data centers marketplaces. We are creating labs where we help young African digital companies develop to participate to that global race. So that is what we do. We create digital hubs, marketplaces in our data centers. We're not only building walls, but within those walls we are creating a life that is buoyant, a digital life where we have all our customers present in the data centers, work with each other, exchanging capacities, exchanging ideas, and making that ecosystem bigger and bigger, better and better every day. Helping, obviously, the countries where that happens to grow and participate in the global life. And that's what we do everywhere. And we are now the largest Pan-African data center operator. We currently operate in South Africa, which remains our strong base in Cape Town and in Johannesburg. I'm going to go back to Johannesburg to give details in a minute. We are also the leader in Johannesburg, where we intend to be the largest data center campus on the continent.
My goodness. This is also exciting.
So that's the story that I wanted to share with you tonight.
That's amazing. So I know that a couple of questions are probably already brewing in your minds. We do have a roving microphone, so you could just pop up your hand and then we'll get that mic to you. I already see a question on this side, right?
So this one here is 10 megawatts, and then you're doing you got 30 at Midrand, and then the one next door is, I don't know how much.
Oh, it's about 10 as well.
10, so then that's 50. So then this new big one is going to be 50 megawatts.
Yeah, that's the plan.
50 megawatts.
Again, those things change. You know, you add 5 here, but basically that's the idea, yes.
Are you going to secure the power? Because, I mean, you can generate, but you don't want to do that.
No, we don't generate power ourselves. What is important, obviously, is where we are, because you know that in Johannesburg you can get power at different kind of pricing depending on whether you buy it directly from Eskom or whether you buy it from the municipalities. So that is an important criteria when you choose a location, because the cost of power is going to be different. And you know, as we pass that cost to our customers, we're going to have a competitive advantage rather than a competitive disadvantage, of course. And more importantly, I mean, even more importantly, we are making the commitment to become carbon neutral very fast, probably in this decade. And what it means is that we need to be able to source renewable power. That's what we're doing. We already use as much as we can of solar power, already here. In this campus we have solar everywhere that we use, but to get to the big consumption that we need to have, it needs to be solar farms. And those solar farms we are working on getting in touch with, so that we can buy that renewable power.
So you're not with the new data center, the big one, 50 megawatt one, you're not planning to equip your own solar then?
That is completely something we can discuss. It's going to be day one renewable energy for sure, one way or another.
So you say that this is like an African story, and this is like a good African story, and you say leapfrogging, and that we always hear that about Africa, just
maybe it's true then.
It's maybe true, but it's kind of like, I mean, there's been chronic under funding in the data center market in South Africa, in Africa. I mean, South Africa has most of the data center capacity by far in the continent, and there's a reason for that. So, I mean, and you say you're going to be expanding in all those other countries. I mean, so I've got a couple of questions. I mean, at what point do you think the market is going to be flooded? Okay, and how are you going to cope with are you just going to run those data centers diesel 24 hours a day in DRC, which apparently most of the country runs on anyway.
All right, so let's start with the first question. And before I answer the first question, allow me to remind you one thing. The African population represents today 15% of the world population. 15, 1/5. Tomorrow is going to go up to 20, or even probably 25% of the world population. Yet, today, Africa represents 1% of the global data center capacity. And that is clearly, and I mean, look around you every day. Not only is it a huge population, but it's a very young population.
Yeah.
And it's a population that is extremely attracted by technology. And that is part of our mission. Allow for Africa to catch up in that capacity of connectivity to start with, so that it can express its potential the same way as others do. But Africa is certainly not less innovative or whatever than Europe or any other continent. It's just that now innovation goes a lot a digital way. And the digital capacities in Africa are less than anywhere else. And that is our mission. So you see, it goes way beyond business. And so we are convinced that Africa needs that capacity, digital capacity that we provide, and digital life that we organize to reach that goal. And then there are some analysts, and now I start answering your question. So, my first answer just probably shows you the bridge to gap and the growth capacity that is needed. But then there are some people whose job, day-to-day job, is to analyze it. People like Sam Analytics, which I recommend that you read. It's fantastic bunch of people really understanding the data center markets in Africa. And what they say is that in the visible future, the need for data center capacity is in excess of 1,000 megawatts. Not 1,000, gigawatt. So we have a lot to catch up, and that's what we are. Now,